Namaste. I am Dr. Roger Gopal and welcome to Journey of Enlightenment. In the year 1947, there was a young journalist by the name of Balan Menon who made a trip to Rishikesh. This journalist was actually an atheist. He doubted the very existence of divinity in all aspects of life. During this trip to Rishikesh, he met an ancient sage by the name of Swami Shivananda. Balan Menon questioned the very purpose of life. He questioned the reason why is there so much pain, why is there suffering, why is the world so unhappy if there is a God. He went on further to say that happiness decreases even though worldly comforts increase. And during his years with Swami Shivananda, he came to understand the deeper meaning of life through this study that we know as Vedanta. What is Vedanta? We know that Sanatana Dharma represents the eternal treatise. We know that Sanatana Dharma has no beginning, it has no end. But where did this knowledge come from for us humanity to understand, to study, and to also apply in our very lives? The origin of the Vedas, as we know, it has no beginning, no end, but it means knowledge. In other words, this knowledge always existed, and it will always exist. But it was revealed to humanity through the rishis in the Himalayas, while in deep meditation, while sitting there, while going deeper within themselves, while exploring the very inner being that exists. The knowledge was revealed to them, which was written and passed on to all of mankind. What was this knowledge about? The essence of this knowledge is the answer to all that we face in this life. Why is there no peace, despite all the efforts? Why is there still suffering, despite all the medication? Why is there so much unhappiness, despite all the comforts of technology? Is it because we have been searching in the wrong places? Is it because we don't know what to look for? And the answers are found in these ancient scriptures. What the rishis did, they began to explore the very nature of our own existence itself, which simply meant that am I the totality of all that exists? Am I just part of all that exists? Or am I in an illusion of what exists? And these are some of the areas that we will begin exploring. The rishis realized that our experiences in this world of objects is actually based upon 3 dimensions. And this is the essence of Vedanta. Those 3 dimensions are simply put in an analogy, which is, if I look at a plant, or at a tree, or at the glorious Ganga flows, who is it that is having this experience? Is it my eyes? Is it my mind? Or is it something far deeper than my eyes and my mind? I see this river flow. Who sees this flowing river? Then we can rationalize, we can reason that there is the subject, which is I. There is the object, which is the river. And then in between the subject and the object is this experience. So those 3 aspects will then have me further question, who is this I that is having this experience? Is it just this body? Is it just this mind that is having this experience? The Rishis went on to further note that it cannot be the body nor the mind, because we ourselves say, this is my body, this is my mind. If this is my body, who is the owner of the body? Who is the speaker? If this is my mind, who is the owner of the mind? Who is the one that possesses the mind? Is there something deeper than this? And therefore, if there is, then the mind and the body is simply just instruments that will be used in order to experience the object, in this case, to see Ganga, to see the beauty of this river flow, to have the experience of having a bath in this glorious and holy river. Hence, there is something much deeper in us, in all of us. So we know it as the experiencer, which is the true self, who has the experience with the object experienced. In Vedanta, the Rishis were very careful in noting that despite this distinction between the subject and the object is actually a projection of the subject. What does that mean? It means that if this subject, which is beyond the mind and the body, is having this experience with the object, then everything that exists for the subject is actually a projection of what that subject is. This may sound a little technical, so let's simplify it a bit. In Vedanta, there are two schools of thought. One is called Advaita Vedanta, which is known as non-dualism, and the other is called Vaita Vedanta, which is dualism, meaning that we are individuals and we are distinct, we are separate from all that exists around us. Advaita Vedanta says that despite the fact that we are the subject who experiences the object, so I, the Supreme Self, through this vessel called the mind and the body, is able to experience this world around us, this world of objects, like seeing the sun, playing with a cow, feeding a dog, or just enjoying a nice summer breeze. It is all one. This divinity exists in everything around us. I remember clearly this old adage which says that I am not a drop of water in the ocean. I am actually the entire ocean in a drop. The concept of Advaita Vedanta, non-dualism, understands that everything that exists is one energy, it's one vibration, it's one force. It is what we know as this infinitude, Brahman. There is no separation and no distinction. One may then ask ourselves, well, if this is so, why is there unhappiness? If everything that exists around us is this divine source, this divine essence, why do we suffer? Why do we still feel so much pain in our lives? Why is there so much displeasure? Those are very valid questions that I think each one of us asks. And that was a question that Balan Menon asked Swami Shivananda in Rishikesh, surrounded by the beautiful hills of the Himalayas, where this knowledge came from. And the answer is very simple. Many times we go about life facing this pain, facing these troubles, facing these issues of life challenges, and we may not always know why. Is it meant for us to suffer? Is it meant for us to go through this pain and this trauma in life? Is this our nature? And the answer to that is no, it's not. Then why do we go through this? It's simply because when we go about life understanding and believing and interpreting that life is about the object, life is about the job and the finances and the body and all these other issues that face us on a daily basis. When we go about life believing that to be the totality of life and forgetting that the subject, which is the Supreme Self, the Paramatman, the divinity that exists, if we forget that divinity and we chase the objects of life, believing that those objects of life will bring satisfaction, then we remain subjected to disappointment, to displeasure, to pain, and to suffering. What do? We do as the Vedas and the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana encourage us to do. We go within ourselves, distinguishing ourselves from the world of objects. What then is this distinction? According to Vedanta, we are not any part of the objects of this world. It is temporary in nature. The body is temporary in nature. The mind is temporary in nature. If you look at everything around you, you will see constant change that has been taking place, even in ourselves. It is said that the human mind has approximately 50,000 thoughts per day. We constantly change our minds, in other words. Even our bodies, from that of a newborn baby to that of a very old person, undergoes tremendous changes, numerous, more than we can ever imagine. And even the world today, if we look at the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and now we are in this new century, it is not the same. The world has changed. What does not change is that Supreme Self that exists within each one of us. That Supreme Self that we know as infinitude, like the Vedas taught us. It has no beginning and no end. Just as the Vedas, which is the knowledge, there is no beginning and no end. And this is the essence of Vedanta. Once we understand that our true nature is this essence of divinity, then we spare ourselves the worry and the frustration of thinking that our situations in life are all permanent in nature. It is not. We are beyond this. We have transcended this state of pain and of suffering. Our very nature is that of the divine. And what is the nature of this divine? The nature of this divine is that of peace, bliss, happiness, and perpetual joy. That is our very nature. Vedanta, which means the accumulation of knowledge. It is the end of knowledge, the totality of knowledge. It teaches us that if we go within ourselves and realize that supreme self, that divinity within, then we are able to live our life in its full potential, to live a life that looks at the challenges that we face. It will be there, but we know that we are beyond it. We will confront issues and matters that may pose great troubles for us at times, but we also understand a deeper perspective. It is still in the world of objects. It is still in the world that is impermanent. And we rest deeply in the world that is permanent in nature, the world that doesn't change. My friends, let us go within ourselves. Let us explore the deeper meaning of life. Let us find that divinity inside. And in so doing, we are able to face this world and achieve our greatest potential ever. This is the true meaning of Sanatana Dharma, the eternal treatise. The eternal treatise, the principles that will never end, the principles that had no beginning. That's what we are. We are eternal in our very nature. We are that divinity inside. Thank you for joining us today at our very special program called Journey of Enlightenment, which is shown on our YouTube channel and Bhakti TV.